Have you ever taken someone up on an offer of, well, if there's anything I can do to help, let me know, and if so, how did it end up? Years ago, when my dad died, his right-hand man at work offered to do anything to help us. We found out we had to move on 24 hours notice, 400 miles away. Mom was too hesitant to ask. We didn't have any options on so little time, so I insisted she call him. He shows up, not 4 hours later, with literally everyone from his job site. With all their pickups, and a few small moving trucks trailers. We vacated within 24 hours easily. I've completely lost touch with them, but I'll never forget them for doing that. It was completely surprising to me because that guy had complained about my dad quite a few times, but always helped him out, even when doing personal things for him on his off days. A relative of an acquaintance needed help recovering family photos from a broken PC. I was just going to do a quick repair and bill the guy, but I felt really bad for him, so I took the extra time to consult him about backing up data and suggested an external drive. We found one for him, but he was waffling on the price, so I cut his bill down a bit and told him to just order it while I was there. At that point I think he realized I wasn't benefiting from any further contact, and he offered to help me out if I ever needed a hand with anything electrical, as he was a retired electrician. Short version is I had some light switches that when flicked would flicker several other rooms nearby lights. I asked this guy if he could just come ask us what I needed and what it should cost for me whenever he had time. He came over for about 30 minutes, tinkered with the wall plates and said, "I don't know," then went home having repaid his blood debt. This is a reverse story. Someone on Facebook was trying to get out of an abusive relationship. She had left the person many times only to come back to the person. I knew the person from years before, but I really only knew her through a friend. I had seen the person in real life maybe twice. I gave the offer, "If there is anything I can do for you," in a Facebook message. To my surprise she said, "Yes, can I stay with you for a few months?" I said sure, since I had the spare room, and my friend that was close friends with her said she was a good person. I let her into my home for 4 months. In that time she had a friend come over for her birthday, and little did I know first world be meeting my future wife and life mate. We have now been together for 8 years with our love going strong. So my offer really paid off in my case, despite the fact I was really scared to have this relative stranger move into my spare bedroom. My friend was right. She is a good person. Unfortunately she did move back in with the abusive boyfriend for about a year until another situation broke out and she moved out permanently. She is now in a new relationship in a different part of the country with someone else and has been for many years now. Someone who is not abusive. So hooray for both of us. One time my dad told me to change this light bulb in my house, and it was pretty high up and I definitely needed some help so I wouldn't fall to my death. Well, these Jehovah's Witness guys knock on my door, give their pitch, and then they end it with, "Thanks for talking to us. Is there anything that we can help you with?" So I asked, "Actually, would you guys mind helping me change a light bulb?" And they were more than happy to help me out. Super nice guys. All of the time. I do favors for people and people do favors for me. It works so nice. The trick is to tell that to people yourself, and when they take you up on it, deliver. Last time I needed help and reached out when I bought a giant IKEA closet in the cellar, and I realized that there is no way we can take it apart and load it into the movie truck in the time window we had. Called a buddy I rarely meet in person, we text a lot and send memes, that's it. Called him up, said, "Sleazy, can you help me with a closet real quick? I'm at _address _." He just answered, "Sure." Drove 35 minutes, helped for 10 to 15 minutes, had a beer and drove back home. I do the same for him. Edit. It wouldn't be enough to call him a buddy, he *s a good friend. Life just sometimes doesn't give you time to spend together. I had twins 3 months ago. I took all the help. I am taking all the help. Some great advice I got was this. If someone offers help, give them 3 options. An easy, medium and hard. For example, would you be willing to bring me coffee, help with laundry, or watch the girls for a few hours while I take a nap? That way, they choose and you don't feel like you're putting them out. It's been amazing. People genuinely love being there for others, and realizing I can take help has been a huge area of growth for me. Edit. Holy cow. Thank you all for your support and stories. A lot of people are asking me if they can help me. That's so incredibly sweet. Please pass along your generosity to those around you, or donate in my honor to Planned Parenthood or your local women's shelter. They always need baby clothes, rockers, swings, things like that. I was neglected as a kid and would sleep over at my friend's house often. She was in college and I was still in high school, but her family welcomed me into their home whenever I needed a place to stay. I remember the mother always packed me a lunch for school and welcomed me with such warmth and kindness. As a kid, many people, sometimes people I barely knew, have been so incredibly kind to me, and as an adult I always make sure everyone in my life knows I am here to help with whatever they need, even people I barely know. A few years ago I was going through a rough patch, and one night I got caught up late at work. I was in a panic about letting my dog out and getting her dinner because my break was only 20 minutes and I lived across town. A friend lived nearby and I asked her to take out the dog and feed her. The friend sent me a pic of my pup happily prancing in the yard. A pretty simple favor in the grand scheme of things, but the peace of mind in that moment in time in my life was worth so much. It also made me better about asking for help when I need it. My friend was happy to do it and it made a huge difference for me. I learned I wasn't a burden for needing help sometimes. My then pregnant wife started bleeding from somewhere down there at about 20 weeks. Having suffered a miscarriage before, we both had obvious fears. The closest family was an hour away. We called 3x, Normie, friends at 11 p.m. at night to see if they can watch our 2-year-old on the monitor while family arrived. No answers. Jumped into a Discord group chat where a few old WoW guildies were hanging out, playing some Apex. Asked one who I knew lived close by, who was a father to 2 ex-girls already, and would have understood, been safe. He was there in under 5, and we were on our way to the hospital in no time. Absolute bro. No miscarriage, just a bit of blood coming from the placenta. Second baby girl delivered 18 weeks later, with 10 little fingers and 10 little toes. Smiling face with hearts. Sorry for the stealing your Apex buddy, boys. We had plans to hang out and I cancelled because I got very sad. I needed someone to be with me while I broke down and I didn't want to bother anyone while sad, but I asked if they could come anyway and they came. They stayed. They listened and they didn't judge me in the slightest. They even checked up the next few days and met up with me again. I was so worried that I was burdening them and I have really bad anxiety about being too much, but they made me feel so normal and justified in those moments. It really made me recognize that my anxiety is just that, anxiety. May people mean it. My wife got a new job and we were leaving town. Good friends offered to help. Our oldest son didn't want to switch schools for senior year. He stayed with them for senior year. A friend of mine who did senior portrait photography was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. I'm an art photographer. I told him that I'd do anything to help. He said he didn't want to leave his clients in a lurch. I spent about 3 months finishing his season. My friend with pancreatic cancer was supposed to get married in June, but the doctors told him that he might not make it to June or be in any shape to get married then if he did. Everybody pulled out all the stops to make his wedding happen fast. The venue, the caterer, and especially the photographer who we didn't know but whose work we admired. She was originally supposed to handle just shooting and deliver raw files. She found a videographer who volunteered to do it free, added a second shooter, and she did the editing. Close buddy went onto my Facebook and blocked my ex, removed all pictures, posts, references of us, changed my profile picture, all that good stuff. Maybe not exactly like your post says, but I realized one of my friends was a true friend when she remembered the times I had helped her on college homework projects. She mentioned those times and decided to pay it back by buying me a meal when I had no money. Couple months later I simply asked if she had time to talk while I was going through some stuff with my GF at the time and she was more than willing to do so. As a matter of fact, she started calling me before I had even been able to see her reply back saying, "Yes, I can talk right now." That's really when I knew how genuine of a friend she is. We still FaceTime every now and then about deeper personal stuff going on, but I know that she is very genuine and probably one of the most real people I've met so far. I'm not sure if she knows it, but I really appreciate her a lot and I'm very thankful I've had her to talk to whenever. Even when she didn't know I had been going through some stuff, just simply talking helped. So I guess it was one of those things where simply asking to talk when I had been in a bad place turned out to be rewarding and realized she's a lot more great than I thought, and of course I returned the favor. On another note, I usually tend to be the one that helps out if someone is struggling. Giving back is important sometimes. I've stayed late at college a few times just helping out friends. It was honestly kinda emotional for me when that friend that I mentioned reminded me of the time I helped her out. This was at my mother's celebration of life last June. There were tons of cousins and extended family I'd only met once or twice, but I was in charge of the event, so I chatted nicely with almost everybody. Plenty of people told me, "You're running around so fast, let me know if you need help." I smile and shake my head and move on because, you know, I got this. But my sister had gotten delayed, so she didn't have time to mold her mints. At the same time, there were 4 kids running around that I was trying to wrangle, and I was notified that both bathroom trash cans were overflowing. So I found the 2 people who had most enthusiastically offered to help and gave them tasks. It was perfect. The one I thought was a cousin at the time even stepped up to help with a couple more things after the mints were finished. I have literally no idea who either of these people are, even now, but I am extremely grateful they were willing to pitch in.